Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
Are you wondering why I'm still wearing a hooded sweatshirt inside? Because it's freezing in the garage.
I have one on.
Are you wearing the hood? I told Ryan I was putting the heat on in here because it is still a garage after all.
Doesn't even look
there.
like one. You're
wow.
Wait, you said you're cold in your garage? Are you in jammies?
I'm cold
What
in
are
my
you in?
Yeah, no, I'm in a full sweatshirt and leggings, my normal everyday attire, because after quarantine, I just gave up on putting on jeans unless I really had to. You know the deal. I was saying I was cold because I converted my garage, as you know, into the house and home headquarters. But every now and then it gets a little chilly.
I feel like being cold in southern states. Well, we're not in the South, but I was in Dallas yesterday and it was probably 20 to 30 degrees. I feel like there and in California, houses aren't made for this. And it just feels colder here. Like I was dying Rose Bowl watching College Game Day and Desmond Howard was wearing earmuffs. Interesting.
And you're thinking to yourself, we're in Southern California.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the Calm Down podcast. Are you
Calm
wearing
down,
a
Desmond
sweatshirt
Howard.
indoors? I am. Erin is. Welcome. Erin Andrews, it is week 17. Oh, now it's going to be week 18. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
You've made it. You have made it to the final week of the regular season. It feels like just yesterday we started this bad boy at the beginning of the season and we were jacked up, ready to go. Well, for you, because once you get to the end of the season and you've traveled however many miles, diamond status on all airlines, are you sad that you're almost done with the season, or are we ready?
Ready. It's the final countdown. So done. I'm just done. Done.
You are ready for...
Because our final weeks are week 16, 17, 18. So 16 is Christmas, 17 is New Year. And this is when, and again, I know a lot of this is based on travel stories, when the amateur travelers are out. It's amateur hour in the airport. And I try to be really, really compassionate because I always think of my mom and dad traveling, which they just did from Florida to Montana. They don't know the lay of the land. They don't know you got to duck and swerve and like, excuse me, go here, don't go middle, go around. But it's hard. Like TSA is hard. And it's just, there's a lot of things. I watched a whole flight last night in Dallas where they closed the door and about 15 people showed up and they wouldn't let them on. And there were babies and little kids and they had just closed the door in 2 minutes and the people were arguing. I almost started videotaping because I was like, this is going to be a thing that goes down. I didn't though. I was more worried about my wine that I got that I posted on Instagram. But yeah, I'm so ready.
Wait, where were you? Where were you watching this all go down? Were you sitting at the bar, watching the gate across the way? Okay,
yeah.
And we're in Dallas at this point because you worked the Dallas Arizona game.
Yep.
That game. How did you feel? I mean, walk me through your situation because mine, while sitting there, I didn't do one game break into your game, and that tells me one of two things. Because the other games, which were the Seahawks and the Lions, no one cared about because there was no, playoff implications for them. And then the Saints and the Panthers, and again, no one really cared about because unless
Rich Gross was producing that game, so I cared.
Well, we do. I kid because I care, Chris Myers.
Yeah.
But no one, your audience was, that was such a big game that was, you only break in. Z's not taking an update from the Seahawks, DK Metcalf third touchdown. No one cares at that point. But anyway, so I was sitting in studio watching the whole game, watching the vision that was the ivory sweater back and forth behind Mike McCarthy. That was you. How was it? Walk me through that game because it was different for me in studio. I was like, I wanted more.
What happened?
I wasn't getting more.
What happened?
I wanted more. Like that game was slow.
That game wasn't slow if you're an Arizona fan.
No.
I guess on my sideline, it was like, what's happening? What's happening? What's going on with this offense? The defense was getting really tired because they were just running around. Randy Gregory was like struggling to walk and he was making huge plays. So nothing on my end felt boring. The end was incredible. I got to tell you so I flew home. I landed at about 11. Wow, LAX was a shit show. But I finally got home and I turned on Game Day Final, which you used to host with Dion, which was one of my favorite shows when you guys did it because, I loved the humor, but I also loved when we're doing our game, we don't see anything else that's going on. I mean, the only thing I saw, unfortunately, was Antonio Brown and what happened with him, but I didn't see any other highlights. I got to tell you, I'm not really dialed into the AFC because we don't get a chance to cover them.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Cincinnati Bengals. How exciting is that? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, that is fucking fun.
No, talk about some highlights over and over and over again. I broke into every single game and it's another one and another one. And I thought I was notorious B.I.G. And I'm into all that whole relationship. And I interviewed Joe early on in the season, and we were talking about Jamar Chase and him obviously going to college together. And I was like, how much input? And I was surprised he told me this because he's pretty close to the vest, like, play it straight kind of guy. I was like, how much input did you have in going to get him? And he's like, they asked me, like, did I want him? And I'm like, of course I wanted him. And like that relationship paying dividends now when it matters the most. I was so jacked up watching that game. And again, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm completely neutral when it comes to those teams. But I was and then by the way, like Joe's swag when he talks about like in the press, so hot, right? But he doesn't have that in person. He's like so reserved. I felt like I was like interviewing him for a military assignment. He was like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, whatever. Then he gets up to that podium after a win and he's ready with the cigar and the memes are aplenty. I loved it. I was like, let's fucking go.
I know. I was into it. I was telling my husband about it today because like again, I said, we see them once a year. It's early in the season. Sometimes it's week 3 or 4. And I mean, it's ignorant of myself, but we get so caught up with the group of teams that we are covering week in, week out. We don't get to see those guys. I mean, again, this is like some heavy, deep, like football stuff if you guys aren't interested in it. But I'm an SEC girl. Those guys are LSU boys. It's just, that's going to be really exciting to follow, for years to come. I'm pumped about it.
Speaking of the LSU following so we keep the feed up. Whenever there's like a post-game interview or whatever, and Pam was interviewing Odell, and then afterwards the camera followed him and he ran over. And there was this whole contingency of LSU fans in Baltimore, like for him. Like they fought, like LSU fans will go anywhere for one of their own.
Yeah,
I'll go anywhere for a coffee.
Sure, I need another one. I'm annoyed I didn't get one. But yeah, it was good. So that was cool. How was studio?
Studio was good. The Antonio Brown thing was crazy in the sense that we were like, wait, what's happening? And Myers was calling the game.
I know. I need to call him.
Myers calling the game consisted of this. Whoa, security, the stadium security thought it was an unruly fan out there. They almost tackled him. Yeah. Like just all the Myers things that you could imagine, like followed suit with that. But yeah, I mean, that was, I'm doing a Cameron Brate cut in, and then all of a sudden it's like we're going to do a Cameron Brate cut in and talk about Antonio Brown leaving for no apparent reason other than getting in a fight. But then Glazer, who we love, is really close with Bruce Arians. So then he came in, just got off the podium. Bruce Arians just got off the podium to announce that AB is no longer a Buccaneer. And we're like, wait, what's he saying? He's like, I told him to go in, and he just wouldn't go in. And we're like, what do you mean? Like, because there was incentivifications in his contract. We were like thinking, like, did they bench him and then he couldn't go in and he was pissed off about the money? Like, what was the deal? Glazer's like, no, Bruce is saying that he said to go in. He said he didn't want to go in. And then Bruce is like, then get out of here.
Yeah.
So, obviously it's well documented that Antonio has had a lot of different episodes, whether that was with the Raiders, whether that was in Pittsburgh, whether that was, his stint with the Patriots. And I liked what Tom said, that, if he really needs help, then hopefully there's people out there who can provide him with that comfort and the support and the help that he needs, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
But as it pertains to a team sport, I don't foresee, and I don't know what you think, a situation where he will ever play again in the NFL. He can't.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. All sad. It just, for so many different reasons, it's all very sad. So there's a ton of different ways to look at it. But I didn't get to see Tom's presser until I got home. I read an article about it quickly on the Dallas sideline because a lot of the Dallas guys were asking if I knew what the gossip was. And I was like, no, I'll wait till Glazer puts it out there because Glazer will know. But yeah, awful.
So that was obviously big headline yesterday, but just exciting. A lot of playoff implications for a lot of things. I mean, headed into the day, so many different scenarios could have happened, especially on the AFC side of things. So that was fun.
The playoffs are going to be unbelievable. I mean, they're really going to be insane. And I know, Foxby carried the NFC. That's going to be, there's no clear-cut winner. I guess you look at the Green Bay Packers with the number 1 seed and the role that Aaron's been on. Devontae is playing out of his damn mind. Devontae Adams, we would love to have you on this show. I may or may not have planted that seed with Packers PR as I was getting on the phone. I was like, look, I get it. Your quarterback is on McAfee all the time. Can we get your wide receiver,
We love him.
I'd love to get Mercedes Lewis. He's the man too. But so yeah,
I would love to know what Mercedes Lewis squats. That man and his legs and his overall physique. I want to know what's going on in the weight room with Mercedes.
I'm bummed I've never had a chance to talk to him. I said hi to him on the sidelines on Christmas Day, but I've never had the chance to really speak with him. And now with us, not going into the building, that's really hard. But I sat and watched a couple of his press conferences the other day. He is just a lovely person to listen to. So wise. Have you ever talked to him?
No, I haven't. I haven't talked to him.
He's lovely.
We both talked to Devontae Adams, way more than I have, but what a little dream he is.
Guy.
And I love what Aaron said, that he's the most talented player. Look, it's hard to pick, with the pedigree that Aaron's played with over the years, whether it's Brett or on the other side of the ball with Charles and all that stuff, but the most talented guy that he's ever played with.
Greg Jennings told me at the beginning of the season, he thinks he is the greatest Packers wide receiver ever to play. And he said the biggest reason why is Greg was talking about when he was there, Donald was there. He had, Jordy, they had a bunch of different guys in the room, but with Devontae right now, he's kind of the only guy. So, Alan Lazard's coming along. MVS is coming along. St. Brown's coming along. But he's like the guy. So go Devontae. Doesn't get enough love. I freaking love 1-7. What a dream.
He's a cutie.
He is.
Well, I came from another acupuncture appointment.
Oh, how's it going? Had you gone before this? Yeah, we got to get into this.
Well, I mean, no one really cares, but I care only because my face is deformed from it. So I mentioned it on the podcast a couple weeks ago because I was feeling like this weird sensation, like I didn't have full range of motion in my mouth. Like when I was saying certain words, it felt weird, whatever, or like purse your lips or whatever.
Yes, I love how we go from Devontae Adams to this. I mean, it's seamless.
Welcome to the Calm Down podcast.
Transition.
I mean, look, we'll go fourth and long or we'll go fourth and short. What do you want? In this case, it's a long story. I'll make shorter. So I was losing range of motion in my mouth and it was really uncomfortable. And I had mentioned it to you and there was like a lot of stress that was happening currently. So I was connecting the dots with that. Well, I've had a lot of stressful things in my life, but never had it manifest in this way before. And it hasn't went away. And it's gotten progressively worse to the point where like my dad, who's not observant about small little like twitches in my mouth, said to my mom a couple weeks ago when he was watching the show, like, did Charissa get some bad Botox or like, did she get lip injections or what's happening with her mouth? Didn't have lip injections. It's been a minute since I had Botox, no longer do fillers. Like we're bringing it down. It was not any of that. It was just like loss of muscle control. So I'd consulted with a couple of our friends, with Vicky and Constance, and they're like, we use these, different acupuncture methods, whatever. So I'm finding that it's helping as I stumble over my words, but it's still really noticeable and it really bothers me. And I appreciate everybody on the Calm Down podcast IG that sent in like certain suggestions or there was a sweet girl. It's actually part of my question, comment, and concern segment. There was a sweet girl, Lady Lauren. She said that happens with her toe, like it spasms really bad.
Mine does too. I thought that was because I was dehydrated.
Oh, well, she says to take magnesium. It helps her, but it's when she gets really stressed out. But the moral of the story here is I'm waiting for my new best friend, the neurologist, to call because I'm going to go in and get an MRI. It's freaking me out that it's not just something stress related. And I want to be cognizant of that. You and I talked about it on the phone the other day, that when your body's going to tell you something's going on, like listen to it. So I'm going to go and have an appointment with that. But I think it's just a reminder that I need to calm down and, sort of de-stress in a lot of different ways. But it's really weird when something like that happens. When I guess my job is to talk, as is yours. And so then when you lose the range of motion, or when I was sitting there doing an interview, even with Kirk Cousins a couple weeks ago, or Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert, like I was so self-conscious of my mouth, like not making the right shape or the whatever. And I'm like, so anyways, I'm TBD on the diagnosis, but at this point, I'm just trying to rule out really bad things and hope that it's something as simple as de-stressing my life.
Yeah.
So that's the update on that. And back to you, Joe, Troy, and Erin.
So when they're going in, because I do acupuncture for fertility reasons, obviously, and I try to go once a week. But I also, when I was traveling, which I still am, and COVID is in full swing, which is still happening. I hate that we're still saying that.
Yeah.
I was doing it for my immune system. And the whole thing is really interesting because there are some days, man, they stick it in and you're like, God. And then there's some days you don't even know it's in you. I highly recommend acupuncture. I believe in it. I believe in, the whole thing behind all of it. I really do think it helps. Hasn't helped me have a baby yet, but I know it's coming. But no, I'm so tired into where she jabs me and I kind of jolt and I'm like, what's that? And she's like, that's your liver. And I was like, well, yeah, I did drink a lot. And I'm like, what's that? And she's like, that's your intestine. And it's crazy. Like my lady will come in, she'll read my pulse and she's like, you have a lot of postnasal drip. And I'm like, well, it's a Tuesday. Of course I do. But then she's like, did you sleep well last night? And I'm like, no. And I'm not saying that. I just feel like she knows it. Then she has you stick out your tongue and she knows exactly what's happened with my life.
She did that with me. And I was like, wait, because then I was like, did I brush my tongue? Because sometimes I forget to brush my tongue. And then I was like, are we seeing the white on the tongue? And now we're like, we're getting lazy. And where's the cleaner?
Yeah.
And that's what she said. The second I walked in, she's like, open your mouth. And I was like, and yeah, exactly. And she's like, oh, you haven't slept. You haven't this. Yeah. Are you feeling this? And I was like, am I at a psychic? What did I just walk into?
It's great.
But yeah, it is really cool. And I'm like you. I ask 700. Do you have it too? Just by proxy, by talking to me?
No, mine's from grinding my teeth at night. I haven't been wearing my mouth guard.
Oh. Well, I don't grind. Well, not. I have a dentist appointment on Friday. I'll find out.
God,
but
you're doing it all. Going to the gyno next day?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we are underneath the hood going all in. She said to me, she was like, it looks like you had a minor stroke in your face. And then I called you freaking out and you're like, okay, let's not throw that word around. I was like, I'm not throwing that word around. I am just consulting with all
threw that around.
Medical professionals and, something noticeably changed and I'm just trying to fix it. So thank you guys for your suggestions on trying to fix it. And also for Fox's patience as I keep being insecure about it and going to Brad, our boss, and being like, I'm sorry that I can't talk. And he's like, okay, we're good here.
It's can't even tell, of a deal. But I know you can.
But when you have something it's like the biggest deal in the world. Well, that is a Wednesday for me. So anyway, so that's what's going on with that. So I am going to follow up on that. What else is going on?
I have a fun New Year's resolution story.
Wait.
This is really great.
I love a fun New Year's resolution story.
So had a fun night in Dallas on Saturday before our game. Went to dinner with Jillian, fan and friend of our show, and Tom Rinaldi, who says he will do our podcast. I was like, no, you won't. He goes, well, you haven't invited me. Fact. So I need to get that done.
It's a standing invitation.
Maybe next week for the playoffs, we could ask Ronald. But, and then Troy came and he asked us about any New Year's resolutions. And I was like, well, mine are kind of really all the same. Don't cuss, which I never do. I never fix that one. Appreciate my life, go easy on myself, like things like that. You know what the Rinaldis do in their household?
What?
They come up with resolutions for each other. Really cool.
I've never heard of that.
He said one of his, the ones, and he said sometimes it's really hard to hear, but it's also very thoughtful. A couple of them were of his, he told us that his wife and daughter came up with years ago. One was his daughter said to him, Dad, I want you to make a new friend because she didn't think he had enough friends.
No! Oh, no. Reynolds? He's a friend. He's America's friend.
He is. Another one, his wife said, sigh less.
Sigh less?
Because he would come into the house and always sigh. And she's like, sigh less.
Oh, not the Cy Young Award winner.
But I feel like if I did that with my husband, it would be a massive fight. Or if you did it with your friends, it would be really hard not to take it personal. But they probably see things that you don't, right? Or you just are avoiding maybe?
Let's get into it since we're friends, and there's certain things that you'll bring to my attention, even if it's hard for you to say, or even that DM that you sent me yesterday where it was like
that was a Constance Schwartz post, but it hit me pretty good.
It was. And a lot of it in there was about how we need to look at ourselves, and what we're doing or live up to our potential and not make excuses because of other people's behavior. So I don't know. I think I'm at a place in my life that I would rather hear what I don't want to hear than have it said. Well, actually, I know this. I don't know why I'm hesitating. I would rather have you say to my face what you're thinking instead of behind my back and then be like, well, I just don't want to say it to her because she's going to get upset. It's like at this fucking point, like real friends are going to tell you the things you don't want to hear. And then after that, you can decide what you do with it, right? Like your life is your life. My life is my life. So if we're the friends that I know that we should be able to have that open dialogue with each other and get uncomfortable, right? But then ultimately, if you are as close as you say you are with whoever, then you should say, okay, like I gave them my suggestions, I gave them my input on their life, and it's up to them to do what they want because ultimately it is your own life.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that I know of some friends of mine that I would never do, but it ain't my life and it's not my husband or my kids or whatever. And so far be it for me to judge further. I have like a rule of thumb. Like my job as your friend is to just support you, whatever that looks like, even if it's not something I would do. So I don't know. I love the beginning of the year because I love the idea of like a fresh start and, new sort of habits and traditions. I don't make resolutions, but there's things I think about that I should do better, like putting my sunglasses in the sunglass case because I buy an exorbitant amount of sunglasses and then I get mad at myself for spending money where I don't need to. So something like simple as that. That's what I'm up to over here.
Wow.
Do you make resolutions?
Deep. I mean, I just shared the ones that were kind of the same ones I do. I think the other one is going to be like enjoy the grind because I do work really hard and I don't know how much I enjoy the benefits of the grind. I love my manager and her biggest client she has and partner, Michael Strahan, is like, work hard, play harder. Like, you know what I mean? Like they really enjoy the fruits of their labor. And I need to start enjoying that as well. I need to stop taking on, I think, so much in terms of like emotion and bringing it into my life here at my house, like just taking on problems that I shouldn't. Like I was listening to myself talk to my husband today on a walk with our dog, and it was just about another problem and nothing about he and I. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and it was like, why the hell am I wasting his time listening to this same freaking story I've been talking about for the last couple of months? Like, and he's saying the same thing to me. So it's just like, it's wasted energy. I have to stop that.
That's good. That's observant of you. I like that. I don't know. Fuck, we're all a work in progress. And I love a quote.
Sure.
And like I'll deep dive into quotes and, try to find some newfound meaning. But ultimately, I think it just comes down to like everyone wants to be happy. However you do that is really up to you. But yeah, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. The last year I have felt like being so busy is so great. I'm over it. I'm over being so busy and I'm over the narrative of saying I'm so tired when I can do something about it. Like I don't need to go renovate or buy a house and like do that. I don't need to move 10 times. I don't need to start another company. Like for me, I think that this year is all about enjoying what I did last year and just sitting and being still and finding enjoyment in doing nothing and not feeling bad about it. Like it's okay if on a Monday, after all this stuff happened with my face, the acupuncture woman was really sweet. She was like, go home and watch like senseless TV, right? Whereas before I would feel bad if I wasn't being productive. Guess what I finally watched, Erin?
Salt Lake.
Shawmazing.
Are you all caught up though?
They only on Hulu, they only had season 1. I'm
Go
not
to
even
Bravo.
into the
Go to Bravo.
Go to Bravo? Okay, because I was on Hulu. And they only had season 1. And that one. Well, I was wondering, and now knowing the storyline.
Isn't it so good though?
It is so good. And then I found myself like really getting it. two things. Sometimes in Mindless TV, I'm like, why am I wasting my time with like other people's lives? But it was a nice escape. And then I just had so many questions about who wants to spend this time and energy throwing these parties. I never understood that.
They all
I want to
do.
go to the party and not have it be my own. Who wants to spend the money on such a thing?
Yeah, I always kind of wonder
does.
if the network helps out with that, because that's a lot of cost to bring on to your own
Well,
self.
Heather Dubrow, moving over to the Orange County series, she did a cost breakdown with her husband on how much the party cost, and she was like saying like, "Oh, Nobu was this and da da da," and she was like into $35,000 to $40,000 just for a dinner party that got ruined. I said,
and
well,
going into it, it's going to be a fight. I mean, it's exactly what the
it's
network
what they want.
wants.
Yeah,
It's like The Bachelor. It's like feed these people alcohol so they start crying and doing crazy shit right before the rose ceremony.
That, one time, so I got invited to a taping of The Bachelor where I went to the mansion that's like up in the hills in Malibu. I don't know where it is now. It's like some like off the path beaten road. And I was sitting in the control room and I was like watching all the nonsense that was happening. And then I went out into the living room and it's like you're at a marathon, like running a race. There's like water stations everywhere. That's how it was with the alcohol. There was like every end table had a bottle of vodka. And I was like,
it's genius.
I should
it's
never
so
go on a show like that. Can you imagine me on a show like that?
It's incredible. Just feed these people alcohol, put a hot guy in the middle of the room and 25 women. It's genius.
Call it a day.
Yeah. It's absolutely genius.
So you had fun with it. Last time I spoke to you, because we've been off for a second, the family was good. You were all in Montana.
Yep. Everybody's good. Left. Okay. Back to work. It's like we never had a Christmas.
What did you get for Christmas that was your favorite gift?
My dad got me a taser.
Whoa.
And my dad got my sister a taser too. And
from thongs to tasers.
Yeah. We got thongs. We got a lot of them. Lacy ones this year. And we were cracking up because my sister opened it first. I got one and she got one. And she opened it up and we were reenacting Christmas Story where he opens up the red wider BB gun and he's like,
yeah,
wow. And like we were doing that with the taser. I haven't even unwrapped mine yet.
What does he want you to have the taser for?
I think he's a little concerned with us living in Los Angeles right now and the crime here and just what a shit show our state is. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh yeah.
A taser. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't really like I'm delaying Christmas because I didn't go home for Christmas this year. So I'm the aunt that's gonna give all these kids money. And you know what? When you're like that age, all you want is money anyways.
Well, you can always say it's like a Happy New Year gift, you know? Happy New Year.
I'm going with that.
Here you go.
Okay, so that was the holiday recap. Yeah. What else since I've seen you last or talked to you last?
What kind of comments, questions, and concerns were there?
Well, I have a comment from Rachel. Again, this is a little segment I wanted to ensure that you guys know that we pay close attention to our Calm Down Podcast IG comments. And you guys are awesome. So thank you for everything you send in. Rachel said, I keep getting ads for Jour d'Or because we mentioned from our perfume conversation.
It smells
a couple
really
episodes.
good.
Mm-hmm. Although I don't remember the smell. Maybe I'll go get a bottle.
I have a story.
Whoa, go.
It's about Montana. So I already texted you this and told you this. My husband may or may not have seen a certain former guest that we had on the show, Matt Damon. And
Matt Damon.
My Jarrett was putting on his skis, and I guess Matt's wife was right there, and he was like, "Oh, hey, this is Jarrett. His wife is a famous sports broadcaster and famous podcaster." You sweet angel, now. Matt Damon. And I said, "What did you say, Jarrett?" And he said, "I rolled my eyes." Rude.
Very rude. But by the way, no offense to your illustrious broadcasting career, because you've worked 20-something years to get that label. And we've only done 46 episodes. But we appreciate you, Matt Damon, for including podcaster next to Erin Andrews, the sports broadcaster.
It's very nice.
That's really cute.
And then I said, "Did you talk to him about Jason Bourne?" He goes, "No, I froze. I should have. I didn't know if he wanted me to stay or leave or keep talking to him." I'm like, "Okay."
I like that Jared gets he's like the mayor around town, like, and talks to everyone. But I like that he takes it serious, like what his conversations were or should have been. I was thinking about this because I've been getting all these Christmas cards, which I'm a total loser and have never sent out a Christmas card of like happy holidays.
We didn't do them this year.
So I respect the people that do them. I think to myself as I open up these cards and like the envelopes are like printed with my address and my name. And I'm like, who are these people? One day I'm going to be this person. It's not going to be
you
today.
Just download a file. Don't get crazy.
What do you mean download a file? I can't even download a picture.
Well, that is true.
It's not happening for me. But I was thinking about it when I was opening up all these cards that I had a lot of respect for. My mother, okay, we really had a time with these Christmas cards. Kathy Thompson took our Christmas cards very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And she, one year, Erin, there was this beautiful house, like half a mile from ours, not ours. And it was a mansion, like back in the day, like white, pillars in the front, like just imagine your quintessential mansion. And this was a house that was down the street from ours.
Right now I'm imagining Home Alone, but okay.
Okay. Go even bigger with this.
Wow.
So my mom, it was for sale. So they were having an open house. And my mom was like, oh my God, you guys, this is our chance to go inside. We've always wanted to see what this house looks like. Everyone get in the car, pile in the old station wagon, cruise on down the road, and out we go into this house, touring around to the rooms. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in awe of this place, whatever. I think I'm like 8 at the time. Then she goes, okay, everyone gather around on the front steps of the house. And my dad's like, what are we doing here? And she goes, just sit down, Scott, just sit down. And this is in the day, obviously, before camera phones. And so she like has her camera with her. She's thought about this. She hands the camera to a stranger and she's like, can you take our picture? Unbeknownst to us, she then prints Christmas cards with this picture as happy holidays from the Thompsons, sitting in front of an immaculate mansion that is not ours. So everyone thinks the Thompsons are crushing it this year. And in retrospect, she was like, what was I thinking? And my dad's like, we don't know. It was such a bait and switch pretending like this was our house. Like, happy holidays.
And it made me,
oh my God, it made me think of it because I was talking about it when I was opening up all the Christmas cards. And she was like, oh my God, I have that. I'm going to send it to you. She sent it to me and I'll put it on our Calm Down podcast.
Please do.
It is really a time.
I want to see this house. God. Whose house was it? Paul Allen?
We don't know. We still don't know. A stranger's house. But I was just thinking about as parents, like some of the shit that she would do, like with Christmas cards and all this other crap. But did you guys have Christmas cards growing up?
Oh yeah. Every year.
Okay. Yeah. It was just like, well, who sits in front of somebody else's house and is like, happy holidays?
Yeah, it was usually just me, my sister, and our golden retriever in weird recital costumes on our point shoes or you can't touch
God. One year she made us all get in the hot tub in bathing suits.
Oh, that's cute.
Is it though? Or is it like, so this is what their family's like? A little weird. Like bathing suits of like the dad. Like Scott's like, see my mouth's doing, I can't laugh. Scott's like in a bathing suit, like happy holidays. Anyways, but
love it.
All right. What do we got here? We can
question, comment, and concern. What are they?
Okay, so yeah. Our comment came from Rachel. Our question came from Taylor Cunningham, you little cutie. She was saying that she loved the podcast, and she felt inspired by us to do her own, and she was wondering if we had any tips. At the beginning, I think we cared a lot about the structure of this thing. And then we quickly realized that the whole point of a podcast is to just ramble and talk and be ourselves. So,
yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. Tips. I would just say, if you're going to do a podcast, ensure you do it with someone that you enjoy talking to, because that way it makes it easier to converse. I would never be able to do a podcast by myself. Obviously that happens, but
yeah, I think I'd lose people very quickly.
I don't think so. Okay. The concern. Oh, I read the concern. Was about the toe spasms from Lady Lauren. So again, thank you guys for writing in, and I'll let you know as soon as the neurologist.
Can you let me know why you have toe spasms? Because I always thought it was because I was dehydrated. If there's another like underlying medical issue, I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, Lauren had said it was when she got stressed. But,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Again, stress has a weird way of affecting us all, but you're not stressed out right now, are you? You're almost done, sister. Where do you go
Everybody
this week?
has stress. I'm here. I'm at home. I'm in LA.
Oh,
I'm stressed out because I
right.
haven't read my articles yet.
Okay. All right. Well, Calm Down Podcast. It's been a great year. And I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else other than the heat. It finally warmed up in here.
That, and I'm now thinking we should have given Matt Damon some Calm Down merch so he could have worn it, maybe next year.
If you guys want to give Matt Damon a Christmas present, buy our Calm Down merch. All right. Love you.
Love you. Week 18. Let's go.
Bye.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.